Hello, Gemini, and welcome to your July 2026 tarot card reading. If you are new here, my name is Jane, and I am so glad that you have found your way here. So let's go ahead and jump right in, starting with a single card from the Astro Codes deck, which will signify the essence of you, Gemini, throughout the course of July. So let's see what comes through for you for the first card, which is the Pallas Athena card, which says think, which it's so funny with all the Cancerian energy that we have, right? The sun in Cancer, Mercury retrograde in Cancer. We are in a very like mental time. And I think this is because Mars is in Gemini and because, of course, the retrograde Mercury. But as much as we have feelings about things and we're going to have a lot of emotion, it's only meant to inform our decisions. It's not meant to sit and fester. If we feel a certain type of way, we're meant to think about it more logically. And that's not always the case. And I don't want, to think that there's no merit to the emotion. Of course, there is. But in this particular moment in time, we are being asked to move and change. One thing you should know, the moment we hit July 1st, Chiron and Jupiter, Chiron now in Taurus, Jupiter now in Leo, are going to come into an exact square. And throughout the whole of July, Jupiter will be making its way into an opposition with Pluto as well. And it's just a time of massive healing and shedding, but not in that deep, dark night of the soul way. It's more through embodiment and practicing, embracing the new identity that is taking shape for all of us. And right now, I just think, Gemini, you're at the forefront of this with Mars in your sign. You have Mars, you're a leader, you're initiating things, you're feeling the heat and passion and the desire to activate. And I think July is a highly activating month for you. Not without its challenges, because Mars can bring that sometimes. But man, can this month accelerate progress, okay? So we start off with the Nine of Cups. Love that for you. We have the Ace of Wands and we have the Queen of Wands. So immediately there's all this heat. And I even really love the red of these women's dresses because it just really showcases the passion. And I feel, Gemini, like you are going to be feeling a passion. And I'm not saying you're not a passionate person. I wonder if it's been accessible to you lately, because something seems to be really heating up. And with the Nine of Cups, it feels as though there's a sense of knowing. And I don't know that this is, I mean, you may have had successes throughout June for sure. It's your solar return, Gemini season. You absolutely may have had some successes and victories. But there's something here about a knowing, an intuitive knowing that your wishes are meant to come true. And I don't mean that in like a fantastical, delusional way, right? We have this think card. It feels practical to me. It does not feel out of reach. That you actually can sit there with yourself and look at your life and look at the path that you're on, and you can genuinely say, this is going to happen for me. And it's not even like I believe. It's like I know this is going to happen for me. And I feel like there's a solidification of faith. And then we have this Ace of Wands, and it's like, well, because of that, why delay the initiation, right? This is Mars. Why delay it? Why hold off? Very beginning of July, we also have Mars coming into this conjunction with Uranus as well. So that's a very powerful force, highly electric. I am sure you will feel that. And the thing about the initiation is I don't know that this is about anything brand new. I actually think you already have substantial progress with something. and that this is kind of an injection of passion and energy and focus into something that is already underway so that you can bring it over the finish line. Because the Queen of Wands, like I always say, she's my bulldog. When she gets her teeth sunk into something, there is no letting go. And I do not think she will let go. And Gemini, I do not think you will let go. And you shouldn't, because that path, that goal, that project that you're working on is a part of your dreams coming true that you already have established that you know is going to come to fruition. This is not a month to procrastinate. Now, as someone personally who has her own health issues, I understand that sometimes health can get in the way. And sometimes the mind over matter is a little bit more challenging for some. However, I just think right now this is a time of no excuses. And even if it's a little something, it's got to be something. Okay, it's got to be something there. Because I just don't think the Queen of Wands will be okay with having no development. All right. See, once the sun comes into this quadrant, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, this is a time where we take all the new beginnings and new ideas and all the things we've learned and established during Aries, Taurus, Gemini seasons, and we really bring them to life. Like this is the time that the fruit becomes ripe. Okay. So we can't abandon things right now because then we cut things too short. And the Queen of Wands has no interest in abandoning anything. So I see a solidification of commitment here. And keep in mind, Saturn is also preparing for his retrograde on the 26th. So he's barely moving the whole month. Barely, barely, barely. Super duper slow. And I think Saturn is bringing a seriousness to everything. Okay. And he's also being in Aries, bringing that feeling of if you want something done, you have to do it yourself. We get the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, and the Knight of Coins. So the 10 of Wands signifies the work that we are willing to do. Now, this does not feel burdensome. I want to be very clear about that. This is not a time for exhaustion or burnout or like feeling like you have to do something or there's so much pressure come from the outside in. This is something that you generate from within. This is the wand energy. It's all about the will. And I think right now you, Gemini, will have the will that you need to plow through. In my Soul Seekers group, I try to do a word of the month every month. And for Cancer, I have chosen the word stewardship because I think it's a little bit more descript than nurture. And I think nurture is the default word that we typically fall back on for this season. But I think if we kind of switch that to stewardship, there does automatically, and I think this brings in that Capricorn opposition, that shadow there, say that there's responsibility here, that the success of whether it's people around you, the success of your businesses, the success of your finances, the success of this, that, and the other depends on how much you show up and how you hold yourself responsible or not. And I think the 10 of Wands is the perfect card for that. And I actually really, really love that because it shows you're willing to fight for this dream. You're willing to fight for that. And so it all starts because you have this knowing that your dreams are going to come true, that you are going to have this picture of something. And so there is no delay. And so you immediately get to work. Now, another astrological event you need to be aware of, middle of the month, the 15th and 18th, around there, we have the outer planetaries aligning, Uranus with Pluto and Uranus with Neptune. They're either trining or sextiling, which are all positive and harmonious. They work together, they support one another. And then Jupiter, as he's coming into his opposition with Pluto, will also be trining with Neptune over in Aries. So there's just kind of this like really big, amplified, magnified switch. And because Pluto is involved, and I see the Plutonic force here with the Ten of Swords, there is a shedding, there is an elimination, there is some kind of a death happening, some kind of closure. Now, with the beginning of the month, starting with Jupiter and Chiron in square, I have a sense that the end or the death of whatever for you, Gemini, is actually the death of the pain associated with the wound. I don't think the wound will ever truly go away, but I think we respond differently to the wound, and that is the healing. Okay. And I think this is a moment where something clicks, right? Think. You're using this beautiful mind of yours that the universe has granted you. This is truly a gift, the way you make connections in your mind. And it's a wonderful thing, but you have to really know what's going on in order to make the proper connections, right? So you have to recognize the wound, you have to recognize the pattern, recognize the karma, recognize the, the consistent situations in order to break it. And I think this is a month where it breaks, which is why July is probably the most profound month of the year. As much as I loved, Neptune and Saturn coming into Aries, and as much as I absolutely loved Uranus coming into Gemini, which I do, I loved all of those. This to me feels like the month that we really start to see the difference. And we have the Knight of Coins. And I like this because he's not in a rush. As much as we have the wand energies, it's like, just go about it, doing it now, this is, I think, is the product of Mars and Uranus. It's the urgency. It's not really urgent, okay, but it just feels like there's time pressure just because that's Uranian. But by the middle of the month, you're going to be in a much more methodical, structured type of way. On the 9th, we will have Venus in Virgo. So the Virgo quality is there as well, plus the Mercury retrograde, don't forget. So Virgo is all about the mundane, paying attention to the details, making everything is set up, systematizing everything, getting everything automated, getting everything prepared. And this is all in preparation for Leo season, for when the sun comes into Leo, which will happen on the 22nd, right after the perfect opposition with Jupiter and Pluto. So as soon as the sun comes into Leo, it too will work its way into the opposition with Pluto. And then we have this 9 of Wands. I was like, well, did we already have the 10 of Wands and Temperance and the Ace of Cups. Okay, the Ace of Cups connects here with the 9 of Cups. It speaks to the next thing of the wishes coming true. This speaks to an opening. Okay, it speaks to something unfolding or something showing up or something happening that aligns with this. This is the manifestation moment. But what's interesting is that nothing's actually going to happen here externally. It's not like, oh, this door opened. No, you have just decided in your mind, this is the magic, it's happening. And then you immediately followed that up with initiation, with the Ace of Wands, with power, with dedicating your will towards something. That sets a whole thing of dominoes in motion. This is the first indication that you're on the right track. It is working. I think there's a lot of, I want to use the word rest. There's a lot of rest in this moment. I don't mean that you're stopping doing stuff. It just means that you feel like there's no questions. Your mind is not that there ever really were, but it's like a solidification. It's a validating moment. And I think you feel more and more sure as we move through Leo and Virgo seasons. Right out of the gate in Leo, keeping in mind this is around the time Mercury will station direct on the 23rd, and then Saturn will station retrograde. And it feels, the word I want to use is skeptical. I often use that word with the Nine of Wands, but not skeptical of others and not even skeptical that things are happening. It just feels like not even directed at anything. And maybe it's a worry. There's worry there. And you don't really want to let people in. You don't want to really share too much. You don't want to say too much. And maybe you realize you don't want to express fears because you don't want to manifest those fears. And so it's not that you're suppressing them, it's that you're purposefully not putting it out into the universe. Because sometimes with this card, I also see someone who has really paid their dues. They've been through the ringer, they've fought the fight. And I said this with another group, another zodiac sign, I can't remember which one, but like this is kind of the get back up on the horse card. Dust yourself off and just get back up on that horse and just keep going. But at a certain point, no matter how many times you fall off the horse, there is going to be a time when it's the last time. And something in my bones says this might be your last time getting back up on that horse. And it might feel heavy and there might be that sense of, well, maybe it won't work out, although I don't really see that much doubt. Although Jupiter in a trine with Neptune, I think is going to lean a little bit more toward the vision. Because it's Neptune, there could still be a little bit of insecurity there in that moment when that trine happens. But this is very brief. And it's also, keep in mind, as of August 3rd, Chiron will retrograde as well in Taurus. So Chiron will be slowing down by this time and preparing for that. So he can kind of bring out that energy too. But we have Temperance, which means that you may experience the Nine of Wands, but you're very stoic about it because, again, the Think card says you're not going to enmesh yourself with too many emotions. The emotions feel very messy, and I think that's because Mercury retrograde in Cancer. It just feels complex and convoluted and also a bit unnecessary. I don't think you have to engage so heavily with the mess of stuff that's going on. I think this is more an embodiment practice month than anything else. The emotions will surface, but if you continually embody, you will naturally work through those emotions. It will naturally iron out. Okay. But I think it is a beautiful month of actualization for you, Gemini. I'm going to pull out the clarifiers now. So, for those of you who are new, we're going to pull out about 27 new cards and we're going to cover those in the comprehensive reading. So, if you want to continue this reading with me, all the information on how to do that will be in the description box and the comment thread down below. For those of you who are members of my Soul Seekers group, log in because you automatically get all 12 of these every single month, plus more, okay? All right, Gemini, let's see what comes through with the Nine of Cups. What do you need to know here? We have the Five of Wands, the Queen of Coins, and another Nine of Wands, so similar to down here. Definitely Chiron energy there. Eight of Wands, love that for the Ace of Wands. Seven of Wands. And the Hermit, interesting. And we have the Three of Cups. Queen of Cups. And the Fool. Three of Wands. Page of Wands, Ten of Cups, Four of Wands, Knight of Cups, another Queen of Wands, which mirrors this card here, for the Knight of Coins, Four of Coins, Six of Cups, and the Magician, the Devil. Very brief moment there. Seven of Swords. Oh gosh, okay. Hold on. Let me clean this up. I'm not going to take all these, but I will take the ones that I saw. We have the Knight of Swords, the Ten of Wands again, which mirrors that card there. Another Nine of Coins, lots of repeats, which is good. So it kind of reinforces the whole message. We have the Universe card, the Page of Coins, the Eight of Coins, and lastly, the Ten of Swords. Okay, this is where we'll pick up, Gemini. So if you want to join, you are welcome. Thank you so much. Have an amazing month, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.